Dead money is an absolute nightmare. Or is it? This Fallout New Vegas DLC is quite likely the most polarizing piece of content in the entire franchise. As beloved as it is hated, one thing is undeniable. Dead money grants you a unique experience. Released only 2 months after New Vegas came out, it begins with a strange radio signal popping up in your pip-boy, the Sierra Madre Broadcast.
Has your life taken a turn? Do troubles beset you? Has fortune left you behind? If so, the Sierra Madre Casino, in all its glory, is inviting you to begin again.
Following this signal leads you to an abandoned Brotherhood of Steel bunker located between Nelson and Camp Forlorn Hope. At the end of the main corridor, a radio's looping this same broadcast. As you approach it, you get your first taste of the cloud and pass out.
Let go and leave the world behind at the Sierra Madre grand opening this October.
All of your gear gets taken. Companions cannot accompany you. Father Elijah, the former elder of the Mojave's chapter of the Brotherhood of Steel, now current psychopath going solo on his unending quest for knowledge, places an explosive collar around your neck, preventing you from going back to the Mojave. Tell him you won't help him and he'll trigger it. Your only option is to do his bidding. And once you're in this new mysterious area, in many places, the air is toxic. The ground's filled with traps. The ghost people have a bad habit of not staying down. Radios interfere with your new necklace. Ignore those and that too will turn you into a deluxe edition 10,000-piece puzzle. Oh, and the holograms? They're invincible. But at the end, if you play your cards right, 37 gold bars and over 10,000 pre-war money await you. Dead money. The Sierra Madre Resort and Casino.
It's still out there, in the wastes, preserved, just waiting for someone to crack it open. But getting to it, that's not the hard part. It's letting go.
No, it's not. It's finding your way back to the fountain, because the only thing we're gonna be letting go of is poverty. And so, can you beat Fallout New Vegas Dead Money at level 1? A tickle to the brain and a weird dream later, and the tale of Dead Meat begins. Her special consists of 10 endurance and luck, 7 intelligence, 6 agility, 5 strength, and 1 in both perception and charisma. Her best skills are energy weapons, speech, and unarmed, and the traits that most define her are good-natured and skilled. Doc Mitchell then reminds us that his house isn't a motel. He kicks me out, and I get to see the sun for the first time in 2 weeks. Now, let's spice this challenge up a bit, shall we? Here are the rules. 1. I must enter the Dead Money DLC at level 1. 2. I have to avoid every single map marker between Good Springs and the abandoned bunker. 3. The only item I am allowed to carry during the journey is the trusty Vault 13 canteen. And 4. I have to beat the entire main quest, not just Dead Money, while only using weapons and armor found within the DLC. Feel free to let me know which other challenges you'd like to see, or which other DLCs I should go into at level 1. And so the walking begins, and as soon as the game prompts me about revising my character, I accept. And then I insist on the exact same build. Thanks to an oversight, the bonus we get from skilled is now doubled. I actually want to see if I can help the other companions in the Sierra Madre, not just speedrun it, so I'll take everything that I can get. Approaching Sloan, I make sure to stay on the right of the train tracks, and that's enough to avoid its map marker. As for Neil's shack, instead of going through the slope nearest to it, a bit of mountain climbing is all that we need. Then, jumping on the right side of the right rock almost guarantees safe passage until Repcon's HQ. Sometimes the Deathclaws aggro, but you can always just hard save and retry. They also decided to be nice to me on this one. Repcon and the 188 trading post was just a matter of going around them. The Lonesome Drifter waved to us, and I went around the El Dorado gas and service as well. From there, just gotta be wary about the fauna until you reach the abandoned Brotherhood of Steel bunker, and we have completed our first goal. From Good Springs to Dead Money's first location without a single map marker discovered in between. And without engaging in combat, meaning I got here at the lowest possible XP. Inside, we are greeted by a ton of graffiti and seemingly someone that didn't feel like cooperating with Father Elijah. Amongst its loot lays a new DLC item, a jar of cloud residue. And down the stairs, the game warns us. This will be a one-way journey until our business at the Sierra Madre is finished, and that the recommended level for experienced couriers is 20. What do you think? Do I stand a chance? Let's find out.
A chance for anyone to begin again. Except the Sierra Madre never opened. The war froze it in time, like a big flashbulb going off. The grand opening. One big ending of humanity. It's still out there, in the wastes, preserved, just waiting for someone to crack it open. But getting to it, that's not the hard part. It's letting go.
We got quite a prophetic statement from Father Elijah, followed by a threat.
Play stupid, play clever. Make the mistake of saying no. That collar on your neck will go off and take your head with it.
He then goes on to explain the basics. The casino's that building up top. We are going to be heist buddies, and our first task is to gather the other 3 unfortunate souls that he dragged into this. And to make sure we all get along, he also lets us know that all of the collars are connected. If one of us dies, we all do. With that, he presents the other collars' locations on our map, and we're let loose to explore the Sierra Madre. I got all the Sierra Madre chips that were laying around in the fountain, a unique Ace of Spades card too, and a cosmic knife to keep the holo rifle company. Our only apparel is a Dead Money jumpsuit and a collar, and Father Elijah cannot resist threatening us once again for simply getting too close to the exit. The vending machines have nothing that would be useful for us at this point in time. Looting a bit more, I was able to get some junk food, a medicine magazine, and 3 bobby pins. It seems that's that for now, so as I'm making my way to find Dog while checking every tiny crevice, seems Dog has left us a message in the walls. Find me and we can talk. On the way, I find a lot more things. More magazines, shotgun ammo, healing items, whiskey, chips, the first of Dean's secret stash, and a knife spear. As I get closer to the police station, we are interrupted by Elijah. This time, he has a warning. So, with the knife spear in hand, knowing the ghost people need to be dismembered, unless I want to face each one more than a couple times, I was quite surprised to see that 3 hits got the ghost harvester down, and the 4th easily kept him down. I expected combat to be so much worse than the first impression we got, but to be fair, the ghost people are just one of the many things that have it out for us. Something that'll prove quite useful is that we can use the throwing knife spears to repair the melee variant. I then found a hologram I could activate to keep the ghost people at bay in this little section, and was extremely lucky to notice the first of many traps. Having no clue what would be useful later in terms of miscellaneous items for crafting, I just kept grabbing everything. We can always let go of what burdens us later. I crafted some ghost sight, one of the consumables that I will forget to use, cause some things never change. Like war. And we've made it to the police station. Inside, we are introduced to the signal interference that comes from both the speakers and the radios. Fortunately, we've got options. We can shoot them at a distance or deactivate them up close. After taking care of the first 2, I find our very first vending machine code for Steady. Another of Dean's secret stashes, a couple more steam packs, and most importantly, better gear. Sierra Madre armor and a police pistol. There was also another code for weapon repair kits and 308 ammo, and with the area cleared, I go on to search the basement. In the next room, we have to deal with a signal that we cannot deactivate yet. There's some more good loot, including a melee skill book, and at the end, Dog tells us that on the table, the disc contains his voice, the Dog Command holotape, and Dog goes on about not letting Dog out, and that he thinks we're here to fetch Dog. That we will be the ones being used. At first glance, this is all very confusing, but once we get on to the meet and greet, all the pieces will fall into the puzzle. By using the holotape, we suddenly find ourselves talking not to Dog, but to God, who is disappointed for not being able to trick Father Elijah into showing up. This leads to a long conversation that I'll attempt to sum up, background and all. Dog is one of the two personalities that this Nightkin possesses. Dog is the one who obeys, a broken soul. He obeys Father Elijah, a good boy, but one that was part of the Master's army. Obedience was imposed from the mutants to the Master, but upon the Master's defeat at the hands of the Vault Dweller, Dog started losing his grip on reality. That's when God came to be, and much akin to God simply being Dog's name written backwards. That too reflects on their personalities. Dog obeys. God protects. Well, God protects Dog. He's not gonna pull a John Wick Forrest, but you get the idea. They are aware of each other's presence and of the fight for control, although Dog is much more confused about it, and God's a lot more distrustful overall. Much like everything else about him, it's complicated. God tells us that, amongst other things, Dog has put his hand on a bear trap. He carved his own name on his chest, because the pain pushes the voice away. And they are not fully aware of the other's actions when they are not in control, so they can keep secrets from each other. One of those secrets is that God has purposefully got into the cell and hid the key. The only one that cannot get out is Dog. Another, well, this one isn't really a secret, because God's the one that tells us. But still, Dog, he ate the fucking explosive collar. Hunger issues. We also find out that it was Dog that carried us from the bunker to the villa, and that the radios and the collars don't just interfere. They can be used to spy, or rather to hear what's going around with the other collars. Of course, Dog and God's collar being in their stomach gives them more privacy. Anyways, if I wanted to, I could use the holotape Father Elijah gave me to bring out Dog, but I'm not going to. Between one and the other, God's perk is more useful to me. It helps with stealth and with not setting off traps. Dog's is just with unconscious ghost people, but with melee, I can easily dismember them. Plus, we don't need skill checks to convince either to tag along. I just have to remind God that the key's obviously with him, that I can use the holotape to bring out Dog, and ask him if he really prefers that I order Dog to find the key and open the cage. I tell him I would rather just work with him than manipulate Dog, that we're in this together. I didn't choose to be here, and God, he complies.
Very well. Lead on.
Outside, more ghost people show up. We make quick work of them, and hey, this brings me to level 2. I put the points into speech, took the Black Widow perk, and found the weapon I was eager for. The Bear Trap Fist. The way to the villa was uneventful. Just some fighting. Man, I worried so much about the ghost people when I was planning this run, and they're not even being a challenge. Guess their level scales with us? Back in the fountain, I tell God to stay put and go on to the medical district to find the second caller, Christine. Over here, the old communication system speakers will too have us run with a puckered butthole. Not wanting to waste the holo rifle's ammo, in case I'm in a tight spot later, I use the police pistol to shoot them. Right after, we encounter the toxic cloud of the Sierra Madre, which will drain your health mercilessly. On one of the other buildings, I find the code that lets me return pre-war outfits for chips, another Dean stash as well, and I get a bit lost. Just a bit. I was looking for the clinic's main entrance when I found the back exit. Here, we'll have to deal with holograms, but fortunately, I have an unlocked terminal staring at me. And it allows me to change the hologram's behavior. We're on the second floor, where a key we'll need is located, so I just set the holograms to patrol the first. Found the code for Mantats, and most importantly, the hologram emitter. 25 in repair allows me to disable them completely, so the only thing I'll have to worry about is the speakers. The clinic's basement key was in a desk right by a terminal that gave me a very important code, the one for medics. And in the basement, we disengaged the main power, which is needed to find Christine. I crafted a clean cosmic knife, went back to the first floor, found an assassin suit worth over 6,000 caps, although I very much prefer the 16 damage threshold from the Sierra Madre armor. The suit only has 14, even though it grants us an extra 10 points of sneak. The code for steam packs was on the front desk, and that's by far the most useful one we could ever find. Not far was another stash. And on the last room on a malfunctioning auto dock, we can release Christine. She just had the shittiest day of her life. Well, presumably more than one. Not that you'll hear her complain about it, cause yeah, she cannot speak because of the auto dock. And it's not because she screamed for help until she had a sore throat either. I also don't think she's into the new haircut, but given all she's gone through, I doubt that's even on her top 10 complaints. Well, She can listen alright, so as disoriented as she is, I make sure to tell her that I have no part in whatever happened to her. In fact, she realizes that I too have some unwanted jewelry, and that if we'd like to live, we'll have to help each other out. Interestingly enough, it seems that our signal somewhat resonates. When we're close to each other, the speakers interfere a lot less with both of our callers. We can be sarcastic and tell her how romantic that is, but she quickly dismisses us. We don't find this out here and now, but that's not out of shock or lack of humor. Christine's more into Veronica, whom we'll meet in the base game later. You see, when Father Elijah was the elder, Veronica was his protege, and long story short, he played a vital role in the two becoming estranged. Veronica thought Christine left. Christine didn't really leave the Brotherhood. More so, she joined a subsect of them, the Circle of Steel. Not much is known about the Circle, other than Christine being tasked with hunting Father Elijah. As for the Circle turning on Elijah, the answer lies on his actions. The ones that led to a devastating loss against the NCR and resulted in Helios 1 being taken. But again, this was specifically on his actions, not the loss of Helios 1. Elijah is a piece of shit. His paladins, seeing the battle turn, wanted a tactical retreat. Elijah turned the bad situation into an unnecessary massacre for his own men. And once push came to shove, he simply left, leaving the others to fend for themselves as the battle continued. Back to the action, I get to level 3, round lockpick to 25 and put the rest of the points into speech. Found another stash and went into the residential district to find the final caller. Din Domino. Here, all kinds of traps are everywhere. From frag mines to pressure plates, rigged shotguns, tripwires, the whole area is a death trap. Eventually, a voice seems to comment about it.
That one's got a head on their shoulders for now.
And up the stairs, we get an invitation.
Have a seat and then we'll talk.
Dean Domino. Unlike the others, Dean wasn't brought into the Sierra Madre. In fact, he was already here awaiting the grand opening back in the day. In their own way, every single person we've met so far shares the DLC's premise. The hard part is letting go. Dean's reasons will become more apparent later, and before we know it, we find out what a singer, a thief, and a con artist have in common. Charisma. Dean quickly tells us that under the chair we're sitting on is a shaped charge. Get up, go boom. Right now, he wants to turn the tables, take charge, and make a deal.
You want to live, I want what's in the Madre. Real simple.
Sounds fine to me, so we'll make our way back to the fountain. Oh, and that whole explosives thing? Yeah, no, that was a bluff. You can't really get what's in the Madre by being 2 feet away from an explosion, can you? As for his perk, we get more time before the cloud affects us, and it reduces the damage the cloud does to us as well. He then tells us about the shortcut to get back to the fountain. As per usual, the ghost people show up out of nowhere. The bear trap fist is being a really nice choice so far. I'm also finding enough weapons to repair whatever I'm using without repair kits, and level 4 comes around. Yep, more points to speech, and speaking of points, I'm taking the educated perk. I also remembered that if you ask Dean about a drink's recipe, he'll gladly teach you how to make a Sierra Madre martini, which comprises of junk food, a tin can, and cloud residue. Yummy, right? Also, somehow that is alcoholic. With everyone gathered around the fountain, Elijah goes on to explain the next steps of his plan. It seems that to get to the casino, we need to trigger the gala event. To achieve that, everyone's going to have a different role in a different location. So we've just been promoted to Elijah's pet sitters. Time to go for a walk, or 3. Well, actually 4, cause we'll have our own role as well. Elijah advised us to start with the mutant, and while I'll do it, it makes no difference. If anything, he's just the easiest one to set up out of the 3. In the Salida del Sol, we just have to kick some ghost people ass and avoid the cloud until we find the switching station. And as we'll see with the other 2 as well, God too will need not just some convincing, but to face off his own fears. It's all about letting go in more ways than one, but between him and Dog, his awareness makes him ideal to operate the switches. The thought of being swarmed by the ghost people or inadvertently locked inside the gates is valid, but we don't have a choice. So I insist that I would rather have him do it instead of manipulating Dog, and he concedes. But he also needs to make sure that Dog will not surface during this whole ordeal. For that, we'll have to feed him. And since I don't have the option to offer him some junk food, I'm tasked with going off to bring him 2 chunks of meat from the ghost people. There's also no way to get these items beforehand, so I get down to business, get the remains, and get lost. There's gonna be a lot of me getting lost during this quest. That always happens. Back to God, he can start planning his feasts, and as you can imagine, helping these guys instead of being a douche will reap benefits later. Although, I genuinely want to help them, but that's just 2 things being true at the same time. Back in the fountain, Dean's a bit chatty, and for the first time we hear of Vera's hologram.
Ghost in name and image. Still a looker, though. Got to hand it to Sinclair. Sure can pick 'em. Well, or get picked. Whichever.
Funny enough, Sinclair does know how to pick who to get picked by. That would be more accurate. Anyways, time to get Dean to Puesta del Sol. And I really hate this location. Whoever designed this is a master of drawing mazes. Inside, Dean wants to sneak through the hole in the wall so we avoid the locals. And I messed that up. It was an accident, but hey, I'll take all the XP I can get. And the combat's been fine, so... That got me to level 5, I rounded up speech to 85, an arm to 50, and energy weapons to 30. And then... wrong location. A fuck ton of wandering around later, and I found the right rooftop. Dean's task is to connect the wire that got cut. Good thing that he implies that he can just have the wires touch, cause I had a false memory about it. I thought he'd get shocked as he holds them for the electricity to flow. But no. As for Dean's issue, he's as cocky as he is a coward. I mean, to be fair, I'd be scared shitless too at the thought of ghost people swarming the area. But then again, I'm not there. I also told him straight up that I'd like to help, so we reached an agreement. We get a pair of hologram guards in place, and he'll go through with it. The first terminal is just down the stairs of the next building. As for the other, holy hell am I beyond awful at navigating this area. I eventually got it.
You powered the holograms up? Well, yeah, that's pretty good protection. But, how do I know the power won't suddenly go out?
Vera's been powered since the bombs fell. This will too.
Well, yeah. You got a point.
Now, I can only speak for myself, but the hardest part is not letting go. It's finding the goddamn way back to the fucking fountain. Took me 15 minutes. But oh well. Christine then starts to play I Spy with my little eye. Except it's more like I point with my little finger, and amidst the silent yapping, we get the perfect dark humor. I tell her it would be easier if she did 1 snap for yes and 2 snaps for no. She smiles humorlessly, then nods once slowly, then shakes her head slowly. Anyways, she joins the party. We go back to Puesta del Sol. Unfortunately, there is no fast traveling, but I did find the switching station quite easily. Don't worry though. The worst part of this quest, for me at least, is about to begin. Inside the station, we can use Repair 60 to jury-rig the circuit breaker, or use the required items to fix it. I don't have Repair 60. I am gonna need speech later. By the way, I'm not gonna use it in Hoover Dam, it's just for the DLC. Thing is, finding the electric box fuses absolutely sucks. 20 minutes later and a pile of ghost people. Hey, I hate this. I also forgot that one of the fuses was in the station. Thank God for that. After fixing the thing, we get the privilege of having a huge building to go through. We get signal interference at nearly every corner. The basement we have to go through is filled to the brim with the cloud, so obviously I died. Then I scout the place a bit and finally figure out where to go, even though I had to waste some stim packs. Shame. I was able to turn off the speakers in this section, only to still having to make the most anxiety-inducing run for it. Thrice. And I activated the ventilation system. As if I needed anything else, now I get a turret shooting at me and look at my health. Though that, I survived. After unlocking a shortcut for Christine to follow me, an automatic rifle took care of the turret. I find Ennis's key, and nearby is the remote maintenance terminal. Christine is gonna want to use it. After getting stuck on the auto dock, she's not getting in the elevator. Understandable. And with the key on my inventory, I just gotta find the locker to retrieve the terminal's password. So I do that. Christine's grateful to be able to do what she needs from here, without having to go down the elevator. And with the 3 of them in position, Elijah tells me to get to the bell tower where we'll trigger the gala event. This has me hit level 6, I improve my energy weapon skill, and take the toughness perk. I then go on to redeem 10 Stimpaks from a vending machine and make my way down to the Salida del Sol South. Get lost some more, cause I'm me, and I reach Campanas del Sol, where I beat the ever-living shit out of everything that moves. So much so, that it got me the in-game abominable perk. And I've done it! I've reached the bell tower. I make sure to get the hologram rifle upgrade and the super Stimpak codes. We all radio each other to make sure we're in position, and we've triggered the gala event. As rewards, I get to make my way back to the fountain. I got the upgrade and a handful of Stimpaks. Everything's going well so far, so let's take it as a good sign and head on in to the Sierra Madre Casino, where the first thing we see is the other 3 knocked down, and the second thing we notice is ourselves joining them. After a power nap, and as I was about to do a hard save so I could pause and go grab some food, Elijah once again talks to us. He lets us know that it was the casino security that bonked us, as if I wouldn't blame him for dragging me into all this. He also tells us that our quote-unquote friends not only found their way here by themselves, but that they have been moved by the security.
Wonder if they came to help or kill you.
So we're once again tasked with finding them.
Welcome to the Sierra Madre in all its glory. This is what the old world stood for, even with bombs about to rain down on them. Now, look at it. Beautiful now its guests are all dead. Better this way. Quiet. How the Mojave should be.
That is his motivation. The cloud. The holograms. It's all about hoarding technology, knowledge, and the power to turn the Mojave into a silent western. Our first task here is, as Elijah puts it, to wake up the casino, so chop chop. Ain't no rest for the wicked. No chip left behind either. In the casino, the first thing I do is to tell the hologram to stop staring. Upstairs, and after a bit of parkour, I found the cashier's key. The hologram guarding the place was extremely annoying, but when it was distracted, I got me some reinforced Sierra Madre armor. Then, repaired it. It's a good thing that the holograms don't chase you past the sections that they patrol. So, I go back to near the bar, grab the casino security passcode from the counter, and a useless code for wine. By exploring some more, we find a locked door. That's where we'll meet Dog later, after I find the emergency maintenance key. I also got the Scotch code and went back to where I got the reinforced armor, because when I ran away from the hologram, I didn't notice the security management control terminal. Through it, we can unlock the electrical closet, and by pulling the switch, we breathe new life into the casino. Elijah informs us that the casino security is standing down, at least over here. And as you can see, the casino is now opened. Around 15 minutes of degeneracy was all that I needed to reach the jackpot limit. We get some complimentary gifts, a voucher, and 10,574 pre-war monies. As for the voucher, that's another 1,000 chips, which means another 1,000 pre-war money. Elijah interjects once again, not because of my winnings, but for the quest to continue. He reiterates that our 3 bodies got moved to other floors, and that perhaps the casino recognized some of them, even if it was just their voice or looks being close enough for them to be assigned to those floors. He also expected the systems to fully awaken, especially the sound archives, but nope. Our callers are interfering, and so we'll need to reset their signal or destroy them. Anyways, to the cantina, and over here we can hear Dog. Elijah immediately tells us to put the FEV reject down. The key we need is on the counter to the right of the door where we entered from. So we can now go back to the lock door that I talked about previously. It seems that there's a gas leak, and once we override the lock, we will not be able to open it from the inside. Not until we shut off the valves. I gotta agree with Elijah on this one. What the dog doing? The first valve's just in the entrance's hallway. The second's across the main room. We cannot let Dog see us. If he does, he'll blow up the entire place, cause again, he's an idiot. Oh shit. I guess he saw me. Well, let's do it again and find the third valve. Surely that'll do it. Oh, for fuck's sake. That's right. We need to interrupt Dog by talking to him.
Dog remembers you. Left Dog in cage. Mean to Dog.
Hey, there's 2 of you. One would have been mad either way. I did what I could do. And then he says the obvious. He will kill us both unless I do something. And that's when God starts wanting to come out. I pass a speech check to tell Dog that if he doesn't stay, the master will be mad. And this is once again a reference to the master, even though Dog's obviously talking about Father Elijah. Through another check, we can tell him that the master sent us and he commands him to listen to us. And he does. Last speech check. Imagine the voice, not as a voice, but as water.
Dog can see the voice.
From here, we can truly help him, to merge both personalities into one. And that's when they warn us. If we do this, they will not be able to help us throughout the casino. In fact, they probably won't even remember us. But I've made up my mind. We're gonna help them.
Thank you, Courier. Even if it's only for minutes before the Sierra Madre kills us all, then Dog hopes you find a way to save self like you helped Dog.
Will do, buddy. Oh, right, we can tell him to let go.
You were there all the time.
Are you okay?
Who are you? What is this place?
Anyways, gotta go. Dog's finally in peace, and we've got another 2 cookies to find. This gets me to level 7, I rounded up energy weapons to 50, put the rest of the points into speech, and left the kitchen through the cantina. Going back to the lobby, we see the consequences for having deactivated the casino security. The ghost people can now enter, but a couple hits is all it takes to take care of each one, so we're golden. In the receptionist terminal, we can activate some holographic security and see mention the sound archives that Elijah will also need. And like Elijah said, once the signal interference is gone, we can retrieve them. Restaurant's done, there's still the theater and the suites to go to, so let's find Dean. The speaker is easy to avoid if you know where it is. There's some more loot, but what we really need to find is Vera's partitures. Cause from them, a key will slide out.
Finally, a friendly face. Hey, partner!
Dean, and in a good mood.
In a bit of a predicament here. Had to duck backstage, take a powder. The audience is a little murderous tonight.
We can ask him how he got here, but he doesn't even remember being dragged. He encountered some holograms, even though we didn't, but that's when he says, "Don't you worry, they will show up quite soon." Oh, and the door behind you is probably locked as well.
Trust me. As soon as you can, run to the door to the left. Use the key you got.
The door to your left or to my left?
What? Oh, my left. Your right. So, yeah, run to the door on your right. Almost got you killed there.
So, obviously, Dean Domino is not a good guy. But he is a grateful bastard. He is truly trying to help us. We can get some more tips out of him, but the area we'll be exploring isn't that big. We would have found everything either way, and so to the door on his left we go. And on his backstage room we find Vera's backstage key. Moving along, we can also disable the audio system on the terminal, which doesn't deactivate the speakers, by the way. And on Vera's room, we find a holotape with Dean Domino's rendition of Saw Her Yesterday. We're gonna need that in a second. We also find Vera's master key. Back to near the stage, and yup, the holograms sure arrived. There is no point in attacking them, they're invincible. All we can do is run. Upstairs, we can use the projector to play his song, which is copyrighted, so no thanks. And that deactivates the holograms. Elijah is once again pressing me to hurry up, as he does nothing. The man is a master complainer. No wonder the battle at Helios 1 was a disaster. Back to Dean, he is intrigued about the casino recognizing him even after all this time. He's also even more thankful than before, and gives the first step into letting go. He says that he knows we didn't help him from the goodness of our heart, that Elijah's the reason he's stuck, and that we're the reason he's alive. He also knows exactly how to get into the casino's vault. There's a private elevator in the executive suites, in Vera's room. And Vera?
She was my other partner before the bomb. Took some legwork. Some convincing made it happen. Sinclair was already puppy-eyed, so all I had to do was the introductions. She smiled, fluttered her eyes, showed a little leg. And he built this whole place for her. Made her the key to his vault. Like a joke. Because of her name.
But before they could pull the heist of the century, the bombs dropped. Vera got sealed here over a few hundred years ago.
Now we finish the job. Rob the Sierra Madre, rip out its heart. Last chapter of Frederick Sinclair. Close the book.
We can ask him what his problem was with Sinclair, but it's just about what you'd expect. According to Dean, the man had a billionaire's ego. Even when things went south, Sinclair just didn't give a fuck.
Always kept looking for the bright, shining future in everything. So, I decided to take everything from him.
But Dean, is that it?
What, weren't you listening? He thought he was better than me.
If everything had gone according to his plan, he'd have made it rich, broke the man he hated, and left with the girl.
Then the old man showed up. You showed up. Then that woman showed up, covered in scars. I put her in the clinic, tuned her like an instrument. If she heals up, it's not going to be her voice speaking anymore.
Dean also put Christine on the autodoc, changed her voice to match Vera's, if she heals, that is. Now, pair everything he just said with this. Sinclair's been dead for centuries. So has Vera. Even if he got all those riches, the world's gone off the deep end. He would never get the luxuries he wanted in the way he used to. Sure, having money now is still great, but I don't think this is about the money. Look at the man. His ego is no different than Sinclair's, even though their personalities are pretty much polar opposites. Dean planned this heist for a long time. Sinclair, the man he wanted to see in shambles, died, and he just brushes it off as one less obstacle. It's obvious the thing Dean cannot let go of is the Sierra Madre, but I think this one goes deeper. It's that grudge. The vault's about the only thing that stood the test of time alongside Dean. It's all or nothing now, and if the way to settle the grudge comes with a story on how he made the greatest heist of all time and became filthy rich, that's just adding icing to the cake. Cherry on top too. But back to it. I got the reinforced Sierra Madre helmet, another unique card, showed the bear trap fist to some more ghost people, retrieved the second soundbite, activated the holographic reacher, and made my way to the executive suites. And Elijah's once again telling me the obvious. As if I'd forget, or had a choice. And I bet the suites were drawn by the same maze master, cause I always get lost in here as well. As for Christine, she recovered. Her voice is back, or rather, she can talk now, using Vera's voice. She tells us she's in a high-class hotel room, warns us about the security, which, yeah, there's gonna be a lot of running from holograms, and these ones are creepy. Echoes of Vera's despair from being sealed flow from them as they call for Sinclair, while eerily attacking you. Eventually, I reach the emergency network terminal, which lets me override the door's seal, and the log terminal beside it lets us disable the hallway loudspeakers. It also has a code snippet that activates holograms on our behalf against the invading ghost people, and the recipe for a superheated knife. All you need to craft that knife is in the room. Not that it matters to me, I prefer the bear trap fist a lot more, and after some jogging, we find Christine.
You made it. Good.
We mentioned that she sounds just like Vera. She says it sounds off to her, but that would explain why she was moved to Vera's room. Oh, and that Vera's just in the corner. She also finally gets the opportunity to explain that she's been hunting Elijah for quite some time. At first glance, it may seem odd that the thing Christine hasn't been able to let go of is a mission. At second glance, it's still odd. To me, at least, that's like saying that the courier cannot let go of Benny. So I'll just take it as the game's way of telling me to let go of overthinking. The thing is, me and Christine, we share the same goal. I don't like explosive collars around my neck. And I don't like the people that force them upon me either. She says that the only way to bring Elijah out is to get to the vault, and that's when we make a move. So I quickly tell her, don't worry, I got this, I'll do it myself. That raises her trust, and she lets on that when she woke up, she found a key. She's got no clue what it opens, but she entrusts it to us. I then take a nap to replenish my health, use the key to open Vera's dresser where we find Vera Key's audition holotape. And on the other side of the room, her skeleton sits on a chair, her outfit at her feet. I know that's just because skeletons are just objects and like NPCs that are basically storages with voice lines, but come on, it's kind of funny to think Vera spent her last moments naked on a chair with a super steampack by her side and the outfit by her feet? Okay, funny may not be the right word, but it's the easiest way I can explain the dark humor this provokes. Anyways, we can use Vera's computer terminal to unlock a security door. There is another copy of the same outfit on a safe alongside some pre-war money and chips, and most importantly, this is where that elevator that goes down to the vault is located. Elijah once again reminds me of what I already knew, and I'm gonna have to go back to the lobby and retrieve the lost archive. Before I do that, I create some steam packs and encounter some more ghost people in the lobby, and that's enough for another level up. So I retrieve the thing, round speech to 100, and dump the rest of the points into unarmed. As for the perk, thinking about Lanius made me go for the second rank of the toughness perk. Better safe than sorry. Back to Christine, and she questions why the builder of the place would have Vera's voice be the way to unlock the vault. In conversation, we agree that, yeah, this doesn't feel like a casino. As she puts it, yeah, it's a fortress. Maybe it's obsession. Maybe it's affection.
Love makes people do strange things. Won't argue that. It can drive you crazy sometimes if you can't connect. If they loved each other, and they were together, I suppose that's all that mattered. But she's in that side room, dead, because the casino wouldn't let her leave. And who knows where he is.
She also has some words about letting go.
I've lost him so many times. He needs to die. What happened here with us? He's done so much worse. Never mind. Let me get the vault open. Begin again. But know when to let go. Sounds like you.
It does. But only on playthroughs where we do all the DLCs.
Begin again. But know when to let go.
Oh, we're getting close. And hey, an in-game achievement. Saved all companions. Poetic. Cause after this one, saving up's the one thing I'll never have to do. We're letting go of poverty, just gotta go through one last hellish section. But I can see it. I can taste it. It's right there. The vault. Unfortunately, this isn't gonna be a breeze. It never is. Seriously, look, I love Dead Money, despite all its flaws. It's like a guilty pleasure. But it's more about how you feel once you're finished with it. Did that make any sense? It probably didn't. It's like a clinically insane hot girlfriend that has an awesome personality whenever she's not having an episode. You know you're gonna curl up your toes when she puts the knife down, in more ways than one, and you know she is going to put the knife down. Except Dead Money feels like the argument. That is Dead Money. And you're not gonna go for the crazies anymore, you value your life, no more knives. But you kinda smile at the flashbacks, makes you go even though you nearly pissed your pants. And after finally figuring out where the speakers I needed to destroy were, and running from more holograms, a lot more, I finally reach the Vault Security Terminal. We can use it to disengage the security protocols, and the game warns us that the elevator will depart shortly after the shutdown. Don't worry like I used to, this isn't a time-sensitive event. It's progress-related. Near the vault, we've got a terminal to unlock its safe door, and yet another poster. Begin again. 37 gold bars to add to my over 11,000 pre-war money. This is going to be glorious. Inside, I can use an unarmed skill check to smash the generator that powers up the turret defenses. There is a lot of healing items around, which is by design. And I'm greedy enough to grab even the few pre-war money that's scattered around. There's just one little issue. Every single gold bar weighs 35 units. A bit of googling told me the game uses pounds. I'm used to kilos, but I'll do the math. 37 of these bad boys, if we consider them as weighing 35 pounds each, puts us at 1,295 pounds. That is 587.4 kilograms. So it's no longer surprising that, yeah, 2 it's fair game. 3 is about what makes you over-encumbered, since, you know, you got more items in your inventory, including uniques, and Father Elijah's about to say hi. Well, I guess the courier's going to have back problems for the rest of his life, cause I'm not letting go. The first step is to disengage the vault security protocols near the door. The second is to go to the terminal on the desk. On it, we find a message to Vera. If you are reading this, my fears have come to pass, and this is an apology, Sinclair writes. Now, it's important to note that Sinclair didn't know about the bombs dropping. This was written in the event of Vera getting stuck in the vault cause Sinclair, he knew. He knew she didn't love him. He knew about the plans Vera had with Dean to rob the Sierra Madre. And we discover that she herself confirmed his suspicions before he wrote this. It's also implied that Dean had tapes on his possession that coerced Vera into doing this, and that Vera was, in secret, addicted to healing items, but as a mean for pain relief. Not cams, healing items. That super steam pack by her side wasn't a reward for you, it's just another layer. Sinclair also explains that the villa was an honest gift. As the world raced to war, he wanted to protect her, to the point where he got into debt to finish the casino's construction. The Sierra Madre is the bomb shelter that stemmed from unrequited love. He didn't know the bombs would drop, but he wasn't stupid. He knew they might. Oh, and he read Dean like a book the second Dean introduced Vera to Sinclair. He knew, and he goes on about how that made him feel tricked. Made his thoughts go dark for a while, to the point where he changed the vault from a shelter to a trap. He knew the one that would enter the vault first would have been Dean, and Sinclair wanted him to die here. But he also believed that the vault was the casino's safest place during the war that made the Fallout franchise a post-apocalyptic nuclear experience. Sinclair tried to rewire the systems to change the protocols, and he failed. His last request: Vera, if you're here, do not access the personal accounts entry. It's a message to Dean, and it will seal the door with no way of getting back out. Even the elevator will return and lock in place. And that huge stash of healing items, Sinclair made sure they were here in case Vera got stuck. They should have been enough to keep her comfortable. The holograms were supposed to defend the casino from attackers. The beacon in the villa would and did signal an emergency signal. And you know, Dean, between his criticism and the bone he had to pick with Sinclair, he actually depicted the man to a T. Even after falling deeply into unrequited love, as the world was on the brink of nuclear war, Sinclair did his damn best to stay positive. He truly loved her. Now, pardon me as I drift from Fallout's best stoic example, but we got a douchebag to confront, a heist to accomplish, and a challenge to finish.
After all this time, the Sierra Madre, mine.
Father Elijah, it's never enough, is it? The man wants to bring the Mojave to a post-apocalypse. All of the weapons he drools for are out there. It's the holograms and the cloud. There's nothing in this vault that will get him closer to his goals. I mean, sure, the gold would be extra resources, yes. My point is that the gold to him is nothing compared to figuring out how to weaponize the cloud and the holograms. And that he's got to see it with his own eyes. He's got to take care of the loose ends. He's got to be the one to see all of this gold and chuckle alone. Weirdly enough, he goes from recognizing we're in the vault to telling us not to go into it. Have no clue if he thinks we're standing by the terminal that opened the door, but surely that cannot be it. He's listening and he's on the screen. I can only assume the whole don't go into the vault is just stay put. Oh, and here's where things get complicated once again. He doesn't want to risk it. There may be more traps, there may be another security system, but we can antagonize him. Tell him he's hiding, to which he reveals that he's been in the casino before with other crews. He or they have just not have gotten this far, which is weird, until he reveals that he's trapped in the casino, that is. Or Pip-boy signal is the thing that gave him hope. And okay, it's still weird. Unless maybe the security just resets things, or maybe no other crew has even gone beyond the electrical closet. Maybe that's just it. Either way, he really doesn't want to take the chance to show up. For some reason, he's also not detonating the colors, and that's where we can take advantage. He goes on to say that we're stuck. The elevator's the only way out, and he's got more time, more than we do. But like I said, he's still yapping. Now, there's several checks depending on your skills that you could use to draw him out. Obviously, I'm going the speech route, which doesn't show up straight away, but exhaust his dialogue, you'll find it. It seems I only needed 75 for him instead of 100, so that's on me. The run could have been done with only 80, but hindsight is 20/20, and lo and behold, he agrees to come down and meet face to face. He even tells us that if we prove to be troublesome, there's always the caller. You know, the one that could have been detonated already. Now, this is tricky. It's very possible, it's just annoying. During the escape attempt, I died like 4, 5, 6 times. You really need a hard save from as soon as he shuts up to give you leeway. And here's what you're gonna want to do. Leave at the snail pace that the gold bars force upon you, turn right, and hide behind that thing. You're gonna have to go around it as he gets closer and closer to the vault. Pretend it's a lock-picking sweet spot. From the second he steps into the structure near the terminal, cause even with a stealth boy, he will notice you if you go for the door to exit too early. He needs to be entering the dome. Quick saves also help. If he notices you, reload. Then just attempt to get beyond the door before it's locked. To be fair, you could probably fight here. I haven't tried that. It's the second time I'm following this strategy. It's just that on both, I was quite fond of leaving Elijah to rot. Eventually, you just get out, just in the nick of time. And once you do, you make a beeline for the elevator. The game will put you at the casino's entrance, just by the fountain. Make a walk for the gates to leave the Sierra Madre and your explosive caller? I don't know, man. Plot armor? Distance? Interference? Seriously, if one of you knows, if there's an explanation, I didn't find it, and I'd really like to know about it. Surprisingly, I didn't find this harder than the usual experience. If anything, I'm baffled that the ghost people were not an issue.
The survivors of the Sierra Madre thought about gathering at the fountain and waiting for the courier. In the end, the caller's silence made them uneasy, and the fear of turning on each other made them hesitate and leave the goodbyes unspoken.
Dog forgot himself, as did the voice that raged within him. All that happened at the Sierra Madre was a faint memory to the new personality, like a flickering light in the clouds of the mind.
Dean Domino, entertainer, singer, thief, explored the Sierra Madre not long after he was rescued by the courier. Once he left the theater, the Sierra Madre recognized him as a guest, and many doors opened to him. He had to admit it had been built to last. During his search, he came across the final records of Vera and Sinclair, and realized what happened the night the bombs fell. He felt strangely sad for a moment, and he had no idea why.
Christine, her mission complete, found new purpose as the Sierra Madre's warden. She watched over it silently, by choice. Over time, the ghost people came to see her as one of the holograms. They would watch silently as she walked among them.
You heard of the Sierra Madre Casino?
We all have. The legend, the curses.
Some foolishness about it lying in the middle of a city of dead.
A city of ghosts, beneath a blood-red cloud.
A bright, shining monument, reaching out, luring treasure hunters to their doom. An illusion.
A promise that you can change your fortunes. Begin again.
Finding it, though, that's not the hard part. It's letting go.
Back to the action, Benny. Benny, you're not gonna tap me twice on the forehead and have it easy. But first, we've unlocked a new area in the bunker, and the Dropbox by it has a complimentary voucher and 100 chips for us. I also found a T-45D power helmet. We can create some jar residue, which reminds me that, yep, using the ghost sight didn't even cross my mind from the second I crafted it until right now. And I can cash in the voucher for 1,000 chips, but the vending machine has nothing that I care. I've got 11,000 pre-war money on my pocket, and they weigh nothing. Also, Vera's outfit looks amazing. And the gold bars can sit pretty in that footlocker. In the Mojave, my first stop is the 188, because I want to bring Veronica along for a bit.
I had a run-in with this group calling themselves the Brotherhood of Steel. Pretty strange bunch. Do you know anything about them?
Yes, I do, but I don't have a DLC-themed answer to give you. Anyways, as most, if not all of you know, Veronica really wants a dress. I've got 2 of Vera's outfits. Veronica will not unequip her armor for anything that has less damage threshold than what she's wearing, making her miscellaneous quest obsolete, but we will fix that later. By the way, the dress that she really wants is from the White Glove Society. Don't know why, but sure, I'll get some formal wear.
Aw, you shouldn't have. It's just my taste. Thank you.
In the Gunrunners, I used the Vendortron to give me an idea of how much money I actually have, and then I went into Freeside, where a thug thought that he could mug me. He got absolutely destroyed. Old Ben warns us not to get past the Securitrons without talking to them, and the Securitron nearly drooled after seeing how much money I have. I gave the squatter a practical example of just how many rides he's got in the Mojave. Victor said howdy, and Billy's got jokes.
I had dinner at the Ultra Lux the other night. I told them my steak tastes funny. They said it was a clown. I ate a person.
Okay. In the tops, I'm gonna use the Black Widow perk to get my favorite line from Benny.
I hear dig from you, babe, and all I can think of is a shovel.
This gets me to level 9, points to unarmed, and Benny's going to die a happy man.
Nice Charlies, too. Give him a shake for the Ben man, will you? Hello.
Huh?
Getting the platinum chip was easy, getting to level 10 was even easier. That's more points into unarmed, and I took the Fight the Power perk. Yes Man's first task is for us to tour the Mojave a little bit. There's 5 factions that we'll need to meet. And outside, Vulpez is waiting. Apparently, we've got a secret admirer. But before we go on to meet Kaisar, I'm gonna hand the platinum chip to Mr. House. That's another 1,000 caps. I get to see the unskippable Securitron demonstration yet again. And since House just hands me the chip back, I use it to get into the control room, where he gets to see the Bear Trap Fist. Then, an NCR trooper wants me to go and meet Ambassador Crocker. No, I'm not gonna do that. I've already got a checklist to go over. Omerta's just gotta talk with the greeter. George, the boomer that's not really part of the boomers, he's getting Bear Trap Fisted. Bombardment, Left Hill. Mother Pearl?
I've been waiting a good 5 years for an outsider to come along and visit.
What a psycho. There's corpses in your backyard, ma'am. For the cons, the map marker isn't enough. You gotta get close to where Jerry the Punk is for some reason. I also made sure to grab the turbo and medics they have laying around, but that was just out of habit. And then I kept going south until I reached Sloan. Chomps! He's in awe that someone actually made it from the north, but I couldn't care less about Sloan except... Here's Snuffles! She's a cutie! I patched her leg, went to the Hidden Valley bunker, and used Veronica to avoid having yet another explosive collar around my neck. The Brotherhood in New Vegas really likes explosive collars. Jesus! Anyways, talking to Ramos is enough to ignore these guys, so all that's left is the White Glove Society. But, to maximize Veronica keeping me company, since I'm not gonna bring her to Hoover Dam, we're going to meet the Mojave's most important baldy first. Kaisar, who goes on about his lifelong dream of feeling the ground shake. Feeling generous, I'll oblige. A bit of punching was all that I needed to get to the console and upgrade the Securitron army stashed beneath the fort to their Mark II. I slept on one of their tents to heal up and got to level 11. Put more points into unarmed, and who's all happy and giggly?
I felt the ground shake a while ago.
In the Ultra Lux, I just have to talk to Marjorie. Or to Mortimer. And apparently the superheated cosmic knife's a concealed weapon, so I tried it on Mortimer. And you know what Mortimer has? Formal wear. It will look slightly different on Veronica. But out of the 2 that we could get over here, this one is the most valuable one. Oh, and no one cared about Mortimer. Hey, Veronica, have at it.
For me? Do you mean it? No, it's too much. Well, okay, but it's too much. Oh, it's perfect. Thank you.
In return, she teaches us a new unarmed technique, the scribe counter, and yep, still not wearing it. But oh well, console commands can remove her apparel, which in turn will make her switch to what I've given her. Let me just remove the hood as well, and voila. She looks so different, but it does suit her. As for the formal wear, it's a disappointment when compared to Vera's outfit. Let's keep it red and black, and dismiss her.
Nice. Can I order room service?
Sure. I then went to the El Dorado substation to get the map marker, and made a couple quick stops in the 188 to repair the holo rifle, and to buy a handful of steam packs. Back to Yes Man, we've met everyone he wanted us to, Mr. House is out of the way, and we're ready for him to join us at the Lucky 38. All that's left to do before Hoover Dam is to install the override chip in the substation, except I forgot the chip. Fuck. Well, there goes saving time by getting the map marker earlier, but not gonna say no to a punch fest. The NCR didn't stand a chance. I got to level 12, put the points into energy weapons, and got the piercing strike perk. Then I made the walk of shame. I told Yes Man I don't care what happens to Kimball, he gives me the override chip, I do the thing, and the Legion's finally making their move towards Hoover Dam. Over here, there is no point in fighting the Kenturians, especially when half of them ignore you so they can go fight the NCR instead. And so, I made my way to the offices. I lied to the NCR heavy troopers, installed the other override chip, this time to grant Yes Man control over the dam, and told him to activate our sweet toaster army. From there, it's a switch pull and a jog until the Legate's camp. Oh, and I've just realized I could have gotten every single implant from Dr. Uzanagi, but whatever. Anyways, I thought of giving the holo rifle a chance, and holy, it's melting everyone. Before Linnaeus, and to avoid wasting any more unused cams, I had one of each.
An envoy of Vegas.
He didn't even survive 3 shots from the holo rifle. Man, that's embarrassing. And the holo rifle's a lot stronger than I remembered. And here comes General Lee Oliver, doing the slowest of walks, preparing to teach us nearly every single swear word in the English language, the cigar is a lie, and he's going for a swim. And so, can you beat Fallout New Vegas Dead Money at level 1? Of course you can, and I will be trying this with the other DLCs as well. If you'd like to support these challenges, click that join button. And I'd like to give a big shout out to Steve Whittle and to John Walker for their support of the channel. And to you! So, thank you so much for watching, I hope you enjoyed, I hope I'll see you on the next one. And I hope you have a good one. Bye!
And I guess I'll see you around. We accomplished a lot together. It was fun. Take care!
And so the courier who had cheated death in the cemetery outside Good Springs cheated death once again, and the Mojave Wasteland was forever changed. The courier, with the aid of Yes Man, drove both the Legion and the NCR from Hoover Dam, securing New Vegas's independence from both factions. With Mr. House out of the picture, part of the Securitron army was diverted to the Strip to keep order. Any chaos on the streets was ended. Quickly. Chaos became uncertainty, then acceptance with minimal loss of life. New Vegas assumed its position as an independent power in the Mojave. Preferring neither the best of the NCR nor the worst of the Legion, the courier was the woman responsible for a truly independent New Vegas. She had removed Mr. House from power over the Strip and broken the influence of the NCR and Caesar's Legion in the Mojave Wasteland.
With little law left in the wasteland, the Brooms continued to defend themselves against the prospectors and scavengers invading their territory.
After the courier ensured New Vegas remained free, the followers found that independent Vegas was even more unstable and violent than before. Old Mormon Fort became excessively burdened by the influx of patients, struggling to provide even the most basic of services.
With New Vegas's independence formally declared, Good Springs thrived. More travelers stopped by Good Springs on their way to and from the Strip, and the locals grew prosperous from the traffic.
The Kings retained their control of Freeside, and while they continued to favor the needs of locals, they tolerated the citizens of the defeated NCR.
Armed with a wide array of improvised explosives and stolen weapons, the Vault 19 Powder Gang tormented the Mojave Wasteland for years. Citizens of the NCR were favorite targets, and they always suffered the worst fates.
And so the courier's road came to an end, for now. In the new world of the Mojave Wasteland, fighting continued, blood was spilled, and many lived and died just as they had in the old world. Because war never changes.